husband once told me, "From now on, I decide when we talk or spend time together. Stop chasing me." Then he said, "I can't believe I ever lowered myself enough to marry you. You were never and will never be anywhere near my level." So I stopped. 2 weeks of silence later, he showed up at my workplace wanting back the woman he thought he'd broken. I met Ryan when I was 22 and working the front desk at a dental office, making $14 an hour. He was 28, had a finance degree from a state school he talked about like it was Harvard, and made sure everyone in the room knew his salary before they knew his last name. He drove a new car, wore watches he couldn't afford, and talked about money like it was a personality trait. I thought he was confident. It took me 2 years to realize he was just mean, in a way that builds so slowly you don't see it until you're buried. The first year was fine. He paid for dinners, took me on trips, made me feel lucky. But around month 14, the comments started. Small ones first. "You should let me pick your outfits. You don't really have an eye for that." Then bigger. "Your friends are kind of low class, don't you think? You should spend less time with them." By year 2, he controlled everything. What I wore, who I called, how often I left the house. He managed our joint account and gave me $200 a month from my own paycheck as an allowance. I made $2,400 a month and saw $200 of it. When I asked where the rest went, he'd say the numbers were complicated and that I should trust him. I did, for too long. The night everything changed, we were standing in the living room. I asked if we could visit my parents that weekend. I hadn't seen my mom in 3 months. He didn't even look up from his phone. "I'll let you know when I feel like going anywhere with you," he said. "Ryan, it's been 3 months." He finally looked at me. "From now on, I decide when we talk or spend time together. Stop chasing me around like a dog. And honestly, I can't believe I ever lowered myself enough to marry you. You were never, and will never be, anywhere near my level." He said it flat, bored, like he was reading a fact off a cereal box, like he'd been thinking it for years and had just gotten tired of hiding it. Something in me didn't break that night. It just turned off, like a switch behind my ribs. I said, "Okay," and went to bed. The next morning, I went to work and started making changes. I opened my own checking account at a different bank. I rerouted my direct deposit. I called my old friend Wendy, the one Ryan made me stop talking to 2 years ago, and she picked up like I just called her yesterday. I started keeping a notebook. Every dollar he spent, every account number I could find, every password he left on his laptop when he went to the gym. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I didn't ask for anything. I just stopped. Stopped cooking for him. Stopped texting him. Stopped asking about his day. Stopped holding his clothes. Stopped existing in his direction entirely. For the first 3 days, he didn't notice. On day 4, he came home to no dinner and ordered food without a word. By day 7, he was leaving shirts by the washer with a note that said, "These need to be done." I left them there. Day 10, he texted me, "What's your problem lately?" I didn't reply. Day 12, he called me at work. I let it ring. Day 13, he was in the living room when I got home, arms crossed. "Are you going to tell me what's going on with you?" I looked at him. "I'm following your rules. You said you decide when we talk." His face twitched. "I didn't mean it like that. You said I was never on your level." I was frustrated, okay? I walked to the bedroom and closed the door. Day 14, he showed up at the dental office, walked through the waiting room, past 2 patients, and stood in the hallway outside my station. "We need to talk, right now." My coworker Brenda looked at me, then at him. "Sir, you can't be back here. She's my wife," he said. "This is not your house. Leave, or I'm calling someone." Ryan looked at me, waiting for me to step in. I didn't. I just kept charting. He stood there for about 10 seconds, then turned and walked out. That night, he was sitting at the table with flowers and a bottle of wine. I went too far. I know that now. "Can we just reset? Start fresh?" "Reset to what?" I asked. "The part where you give me an allowance for my own paycheck, or the part where you tell me when I'm allowed to speak?" He looked surprised. Not sorry, surprised, like he didn't know I'd been keeping track. "I found the accounts, Ryan. The joint